Did you know that since 1996 we have all been a part of a research study of genetically modified food products and have never signed up for it? It is important to label genetically modified food products because it will let people be aware of what they are consuming. Ramona Bashir states genetically engineered or genetically modified organisms, GMOs or GM foods, are defined as those in which the genetic material, DNA, has been altered in such a way that does not occur naturally. California must label all genetically modified foods because studies have been done where animals have been the test subjects of eating genetically modified foods and ended up with health problems and even infertility. The United States and Canada are the only countries that do not label our food with no cost.
Hello everyone, my name is Mario Gonzalez and I'm going to be explaining the problem with GMOs. GMOs should be labeled on all foods because there are many studies that show how bad GMOs are. According to anh-usa.org, it states in an article called Genetically Engineered Food Alters Our Digestive System, which was published on May 31st, 2011, written by George Wall, an American scientist who won a Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. He states, GE, being genetically engineered, organisms actually become part of the bacteria in our digestive systems and reproduce controversially inside of us. But the USDA now wants to remove all controls from GE corn and cotton. Allergies have already skyrocketed in the US, and with the introduction of soy in the UK, soy-related allergies already rose to 50%. Yet federal agencies turn a blind eye to the dangers of public genetically engineering. This involves everyone in the U.S. because 60 to 80% of the food in grocery stores within the U.S. actually contain GMOs. According to the study's findings, rats fed a lifetime of GMO spray with toxic Roundup herbicide developed serious tumors that took over their entire bodies. An earlier study showed that pretty much it causes organ failure with GMOs. The basic premise behind how GMOs work portends that artificially engineering actually is bad in the long run. And exposures that would harm or kill them improve yields and protect the environment. And farmers, what they would do is pretty much they would spray GMO or genetically modified whatever ingredients on their crops to get rid of whether it be, whatever's killing their crops. And it backfired in the long run and it developed super mutant bugs, everything adapted. So in the long run, I think it'd be best to stop GMOs because I don't want to be like the rat, in the UK and end up, with serious tumors. And that is why I think we should all stop, GMOs with food.
Hello, my name is Joshua Nolasco, and I'm going to talk about the blame. According to thetruthaboutgmos.com, it is the FDA's job to regulate the safety of our food in this country. The FDA commented in 1992 saying that it was up to the food producer to make sure that the food was safe. But in reality, they do not check because they are more concerned about selling as much as they can because it's a business. Since no one is paying attention to the safety of our food, it leaves us, the consumers, as guinea pigs to be tested on whether or not it is safe. Without the FDA stepping up and doing their job, who is really looking out for the good of the people? Studies show that human health effects of consuming genetically modified food can include toxic and allergic reactions, antibiotic resistance, immune suppression, and other serious illnesses. Why is it that the United States is one of the only countries that do not ban GMOs, or at least even label them? According to FDA.gov, they have set up a voluntary consultation process to engage with developers of genetically engineered plants to help ensure the safety of food from these products. But the key word is voluntary. The FDA is not enforcing this rule on major corporations or any other food producers, and this is why the consumers do not know whether or not it is safe to eat their food.
Hi, my name is Antoinette Noriega, and I will be discussing about cure. In every country, they have the production of foods. The U.S. is considered to be the largest producer of genetically modified crops. It has been said that more than a dozen countries around the world have caught onto the technology, including Argentina, Canada, China, Australia, India, and Mexico. Genetically modified foods is referred to the crop plants that have been modified in the laboratory to enhance any desired traits, such as to improve the nutritional content. Some risks would be that people would have allergic reactions to the toxins that would be in the foods, and the accidental contamination between genetically modified and non-genetically modified foods. Some benefits would be an increase in food supply and an increase in pest and disease resistance. The U.S. government's position is to improve much needed food in starving nations. They, as in the government, would not allow any products on the market without having them go through any type of a strict testing, and after that they need to have a certain approval. Their position states that the genetically crops are considered to be engineered, which are also considered as safe. They have embraced the GMOs and regulates the genetically modified foods based on the principle that they are substantially equivalent to the non-genetically modified foods. In Europe, their position is preferred to have food that is organic, which is much healthier. Quote, "The European Union has established a legal framework regulating genetically modified (GM) food and feed in the European Union. This framework pursues the global objective of ensuring a high level of protection of human life and health and welfare, environment, and consumer interests." And this is from Health and Consumers based on genetically modified foods and feed. And they know that the risks of the genetically modified foods towards health and the environment would balance out the benefits overall.
Studies have been done where animals were test subjects of eating genetically modified foods and ended up with health problems and even infertility. We have studied that with animals, it's mostly caused by health problems and infertility. Then 70% of all food being processed in the U.S. are genetically modified. Lastly, in every other country, there has been production of genetically modified crops, besides Canada and the U.S. Since everyone is a part of a research study of genetically modified food products, we then realize how it is really important to know what we consume. We as the consumer have to be aware of what the food contains.